Good afternoon, guys, and welcome to this price ladder debrief. It is Wednesday, 2nd of February. I hope everyone's had a good day trading. And just before I start this video, apologies for any sort of background noise or interference you hear in the back. There's some work going on in the office, so yeah, if you hear anything over me, it's not my fault right now. But yeah, anyway, guys, let's get on into it. Today, I'm going to be bringing you a spoofing and flipping trade in the Bund. It was after the cash, just after the cash open, and it's a false offer block flip in terms of its. You'll see how you have someone flipping the Bund up on a really sort of poor bid, and you have all this big size on the offer, and how he flips it through and then brings it back down again. It's something we've been seeing quite a lot, and it ties in really nicely with a level. So it gives you clear sort of risk and clear execution and what you should see around the area. But yeah, there won't be any charts for this, guys, because it's quite a quick and sort of clean setup. I really want to focus on the ladder today in terms of just there's been a lot of tricks and a lot of stuff going on, and so, a lot of things I haven't been able to get my head around at the moment, and just being able to time this trade and understand when it's on and also when it's not on, sort of thing, which is also tricky. But yeah, like I said, it's sort of a false breakout trade. The level that we're looking at in terms of the false break is these 74s. It is the previous day's high. It's Tuesday's high, and recently in the Bund we've been getting this type of this bid up, and then we may say have a level. We may have a level that we may break, and we get this sort of this extension sideways, which can be really hard to sit in, and then we get this kind of roll over, and then when we roll through back under here, it's a very straight line offer and a very hard. There's no one buying it back up again. There's no one sitting there and soaking it up. It's also a combination of people pulling the bid as well. So that's what I'm going to, 74s is the key area. Like I say, I just want you guys to focus on the ladder and understand how it's trading through there, and what you can get out of it just from watching it. It's the type of market, sort of the market environment you're looking for is low volume, low auctioning speed, sort of low velocity. You don't want to be you don't want to be fading, looking for these type of flips in a really high velocity two-way trade market. You just want to be trading that for how it is, the price action you're seeing at the time. Again, like most of my trades, I take really tight risk with a reasonable sort of reward, at least 1-to-1, sort of at least at least 1-to-1 risk reward. And as we play this video, I'll run you guys through where my target is and how I execute well, but then my management isn't as good. But we'll get into that as the video plays on. So let me start this up for you guys. So like I said, this is just after the cash open. We have this level here at 74s, sorry, which is really really important. And what I want you guys to notice is just look at these offers here that we've got sitting just around this 74s, 70 areas. You've got these large offers, and I want you guys to pay attention to how we as we watching market and what's trading at market, but then how we trade through these offers and what actually goes through, and how this guy is spoofing it up, lifting it up, on nothing, on thin air, and then how he pulls it back down. So notice market, there's no real initiative buying going on. Small clips coming through, 5 lots, 2 lots, no sort of anything that's being clipped down. It's not solid size, which is then being lifted back up. It's just two-way trade. It's just sort of low volume two-way trade. There's nothing really to gauge at the moment. Just watch as we keep rotating up here towards 74s. Just pay attention and see how we just got clipped there. 128 lots trade through at 70s, and again, pay attention to the 72s now and how we react. He hasn't moved. He's still there. He same as the rest of the size. Notice all the size still here on the offer. Still, it looks thick, right? It looks like there's genuine size wanting to be filled. Just keep pay attention. Keep paying attention to we trade through here, and I know this is what I mean. The sort of telltale signs you see there. You see how we just got clipped down on small size. There's nothing there. There's no genuine sort of stagger in the bid. There's no sort of progressive levels being held and respected. It's just kind of washing back whenever any sort of size steps in and clips down. Like I said, guys, just pay attention to when we start trading up through here. Notice that I'm only looking at what's trading through at market right now. I'm paying attention to when the clip size has changed and to when when the bid starts to firm up again. You see, we just traded 70s out without even seeing what went through at market. Clipped, the size is going through here at 71s, but it's still it's sticking. We're still just accumulating size in this area. No real intent to lift prices. Now we're seeing 72s trade out. You see, only 100 odd lots traded through there, and the guy's pulled his offer. He's not there anymore. 400 lots are traded at the high here, and there was 800 lots sitting there a minute ago. He's now taking it bid, and it's back. Clip back down again straight away. Just keep an eye on how this continues to trade here and flip through. Remember, the 74s is where you want to look through, is where you're really paying attention to, and how we start trading through here. So this is the offer, the offer block we're looking at, and I notice now some size going through on the bid, clipping down. 420 lots trading through here. Notice the reload, and then we've clipped through, right? So now you've seen the 74s trade out. We didn't really see what traded through. I have 173 lots trading here at 76, and now you can just see how we start to rotate, right? Notice how the offer gets a bit heavy. 74's just absorbed 400 lots and clip back down. The size that's traded in here and smack back down. Notice the clips coming through now, guys, and then the bid sort of washes back. There's no real, like I said, the staggering isn't there. The guy at 72's was your first kind of key area as to where you saw a little bit of absorption and sort of, although you didn't see how aggressively he clipped up into the offer, you're now seeing sort of reloading 73s, 72s, this sort of area here. In terms of how are we going to rotate between this area, is there going to be two-way trade between here, or are we going to sort of roll back down and sort of and come back more down to accepted value? But like I said, guys, I'm just going to fast forward this slightly. So now that you've seen how we've traded through the offer block, I'm going to just fast forward slightly. If I can get the right. So basically, let me just rewind a bit for you guys. Okay. So I am going to go just a tad further forward. Right, okay. So we've been flipping in this area for the last couple minutes. Same sort of price action, same sort of washing back and forth, washing, just rotating in this area. Notice the clip up and the sort of exhaustion plane that we just flick down. So I'm sort of in bearing in mind that I'm looking for failures above this area and clips back down into it. You can be, just once you're sort of looking to work this area. When I start to get short in here, my original stop was 78. If you want to be a bit more aggressive and work this trade more, you can kind of work this area in terms of trying to get offers in here. I mean, just notice the bid getting pulled here. Sorry, the offer being pulled. And these guys still flipping up here. Notice there's a bit more size coming through right now on the offer. There's still some large orders here. 78s up to 80s. There's some bigger offers sitting here, but notice once we sort of. You're looking for exhaustion, right? So you've just seen 14 lots trade at 18s and smack straight back down, right? Notice the size going through. 24 lots just sold at market. Notice what's happened to the bid here. Just pay attention to how quickly the bid gets pulled. 25 lots are now only trading at 77s. Where that buyer, that guy who was stepping up and buying higher prices, he's not there at the moment. We just traded 76s out on 80 lots. Anyone that was sort of, long in here, sort of, that bid's now being pulled. 49 lots are now trading 75s, and we get taken offered. We clip straight back down to 71s, now offers 73s. This whole move up here, like I was sort of saying, and how I kind of go about all my trading is understanding where, you need to understand where is the pivots, where is the areas of, you can see clear, people, going from passive to initiative buying in terms of you understanding where people are absorbing and then stepping up. Because people, where is there accepted, someone's trying to get filled and then he's going to, make it more aggressive, or where is he no longer being aggressive. So, bear in mind my target here My stop now really goes above 78s in terms of this trade. If we start to really bid up and we trade out 78, 79s, 80s, you're going to have to pay up on this trade. I mean, this is a fade trade. It's a failure trade. It's a sort of trade that we've been seeing quite a lot recently. I'm not saying just to fade every single level you see. I'm not saying to fade every single high you see, because as I know today, and I'm sure you guys seen today, that fading buns today was a hard trade. But in terms of when it's really low volume, guys, I mean, like, it's still really low volume. When there's no initiative trading, when there's no, you see it exhaust out here, and when you see it clip back down on such little size, it just gives you that sort of something to rest on. See that? It gives you something to rest on. It gives you something to you have a clear risk now. You have clear risk parameters. If you didn't get filled on trying to work this area, then that's fine. I mean, I wouldn't recommend sort of adding into this trade. And you're already you're going against the grain on this trade already. So you don't want to be sizing up and fading structure and fading what the market's telling you. You're sort of looking for a small move back down to, this was where the VWAP was. This was where sort of back down to the midpoint. This is where you should initially start scaling out, and then obviously if you had worked this area, you could be you could scale out 66s, 68, and then if you wanted to be really aggressive, you're sort of bearing on price action. If you're looking for a bigger move down, yeah, so that this is how you can be. You've seen this flip up, you've seen this guy, this bid up hasn't been great, right? And as you can see, it's still just kind of backwards to and forth to, it's these trades at the moment in the Bund is so uncomfortable just sitting here. It's just sort of accumulating and rotating. There's no real sort of initiative one way or another. You see aggressive sell side price action, and it gets bid back up again. You see aggressive buying, and it gets offered back down again. There's a lot of this type of price action, and it's really hard to sit through. As I'm about to show you now, and as I was explaining earlier about how my execution was good in terms of this trade, and my risk was great, and something which had I been perhaps worked this area a bit better, and had I sort of known that the flip up, that was that one last squeeze, and sort of seen the exhaustion as we did here, had I had a bit more size on it, I could scale in and out. It'd be a lot easier, but. As you see, I'm just going to fast forward, guys, just so you guys can see this pan out. And just bear in mind, look at the time at the moment. It's 10:24, and how long it takes for this trade actually to pan out, and how much you have to sit through. Because something I've been discussing with the guys on the floor is how much pain you have to sit through until you actually get paid out in this market. You really have to sit through. You really have to kind of hold tight on the trade in terms of you've got a great idea, but it's just about executing correctly, and just not execute. You already execute, done the hard part in executing, right? Now all you have to do is just let the trade pan out. You've got a good idea, and all you have to do is let it pan out. If you're wrong, you'll be proven wrong, sort of thing. So I mean, I'm just fast forwarding here just so you guys can actually see that we do eventually flip back down. That bid that you saw up earlier through the sort of, as we started bidding up through 68s, 69s, this area, this was just all sort of up on nothing, on thin air. And as you just see now, this is where you see the pulling now in the bids. You just see that this is that straight line offer I'm talking about in terms of when it goes, it just there's no sort of, anyone who's buying this move down is just paying up low ticks. And if you do start, you need to kind of, this is with the Bund in general I've been finding, you need to sort of just. You need to see it for what it is in terms of structure, so i.e. your charts, your profile, all that sort of stuff, and then you just need to don't get necessarily so caught up in this. Whereas for like myself, I identified a great level in terms of 74s. I seen that there's a level here at 74s. I identified that this kind of price action, although it looks semi-bullish or whatever like that, as it's grinding here, the actual price action in here in the actual ladder. It's moving on nothing, right? And I had the perfect idea, and in terms of trade execution, and when we had the flip through all the large size, and the guy had found his liquidity, got his fill, sort of thing, and then we had the two-way trade, like I was saying in here. This is what we're getting a lot, guys. Is this really hard sort of flip price action? You need to sort of you've got your risk. You know where your risk. Your stop's above this high. Your stop's above the area you've worked, the area of exhaustion you've seen. And it's all just about let the Bund do its thing. Don't try and pick it to pieces. You know what I mean? You had to sit in this trade for over nearly 10 minutes to get get to what you know, get your target sort of thing. And it was a good trade in terms of you traded structure, you understood what was going on at market in the price ladder, and then you execute accordingly. And it offers you good risk reward, you know what I mean, in terms of once it does start to erase this bid down, we have this kind of grindy offer, sort of the offer just goes heavy, and you know, any clips lifted up just gets reloaded and smacked back down again. That's, you know, it's a matter of just knowing that you've seen this and sort of just, you know, don't run if you don't want to, you know, if you want to just trade the flip for what it is in this area, then that's fine. But when you've seen it flip up like this, you know there's a sort of a bigger trade in the grand schemes of things. I mean, don't get me wrong, guys. A number of times where I'd be getting long in this on this bid, seeing, you know, trying to really dissect the price action, really trying to understand it. When in reality, it's just being flipped up, and then, you know, and then when you're buying it on the way down, sort of thing like that as well, then you're sort of paying up, and you're really doing damage. You know what I mean? Especially early on in the day like this, guys. It can be a real you know, it can be real sort of psychological damage in terms of, and more energy sort of, you know what I mean? Just preserving energy, understanding the smaller trades, understand like these little trades like this, guys. You know, don't try and, you don't have to read too much into the ladder, because at the moment, for myself personally, as much as I'm better off in terms of just understanding a setup, so this flip trade. You know, I identified that this price action in here I didn't like. You know, I'd seen it before. This kind of false bid up, really thin, lifting on nothing, getting smacked back down on no size, no sort of staggering in the pivot sort of thing. As I like to see, there's no one sitting there saying, yes, I want to get filled, and then I'm going to clip up. You know what I mean? There's no sort of initiative followed up by there's no initiative. There's no passive absorption followed up by initiative buying. You know what I mean? That's just the telltale signs to a sort of flip up, and then pull back down. And obviously it works just the same on to the downside. Just to sort of, you're seeing, you know, poor volume structure, and just, yeah, that, you know, pay attention to your delta. If the delta's not really shifted, it gives you a sort of insight as to what's actually going on. And yeah, guys, I mean, that was one trade that I saw today that I really liked, and it's just one that's recurring quite a lot. But like I said, my execution was good, and just hanging on, guys. It's kind of a theme at the moment, just having to sit through a lot of pain, and not expecting to get paid out straight away, guys. It's like I say, it's a big theme at the moment, and this is something that I've seen a lot. So I really hope you guys got something out of that, and it was enjoyable.